Hello students, welcome back to the online classes of physics. This is your Naima Miss back again with a new topic, that is gravitation. Okay, so we have learned in our previous classes what is gravitation, isn't it? We are all aware of gravitation. We are all aware of gravitation, even though we have not, you might have not learned into deep what is gravitation, but still I hope you all know the definition of gravitation, isn't it? So what is the definition of gravitation? It's nothing but a phenomenon under which earth tends to attract things towards itself. It's nothing but a phenomenon under which earth tends to attract things towards itself, isn't it? So what is gravitation? We have learned gravitation is nothing but a phenomena under which earth tends to attract things towards itself. Okay, is it clear? Yes. So what happens in this gravitation? What happens actually in this gravitation? We will go with an example. Example, apple. Isn't it? Example is apple. You see apple when it falls up from the tree. Okay, when the apple is falling from the tree, you see that the apple falls down. Isn't it? The apple falls down on the earth. Isn't it? It falls down on the earth, but it does not it does not fly away into the air. Yes, does it fly away into air? No, it will not fly away into air. It will just fall down to the earth only. Isn't it? It will fall down to the earth. Why? Why is that happening? Why the apple is falling down to the earth? Why it is not flying away? Why all the apples are falling down onto the earth, but they are not flying away into the air or not floating into the air also? Why is that happening? Why the objects are always coming down to the earth? That means there is some force. There is some force of attraction, that is earth is having some force of attraction towards itself. It is having some force of attraction which is attracting the objects towards itself. Okay? It is having a force of attraction which is attracting the objects towards itself. Isn't it? So, even we can take the example of ball. Okay, we can take the example of ball. Ball, what is happening when you are throwing the ball into the air? Simply when you throw the ball into the air, it will just come back and fall again on the ground. Isn't it? It will come back again and fall into the ground. When it is going high into the air, why it is not floating into the air? Why it is not flying into the air? But it is coming back onto the earth. Isn't it? So that means there is some force of attraction which is attracting the ball towards itself. Okay? It is attracting the ball towards itself. Isn't it? So some force is there which is attracting the ball towards the earth. That force is nothing but a gravitational force. So we can even take some natural phenomena also. We have so many examples around us. Like we have, example, we can take the rain, isn't it? Rain also falls down. It doesn't go up. See here also, the rainwater is not going up. It is coming down only, isn't it? So there is whatever water is coming out of the clouds is coming down to the earth. Isn't it? It is not going up. It's not going up, isn't it? It is not going up. Why it is not going up? Why the water is falling down only? So that means there is some force of attraction which is attracting the water drops towards itself, and the rain falls down onto the earth. Isn't it? It falls down onto the earth, but it does not move up. Okay, there is no upward direction. The water falls down onto the earth. Similarly, we have so many examples that moon revolves around the sun. No, moon revolves around the earth. So we have moon revolves around the sun and we have earth revolves around the moon. We can see the moon is revolving around the sun. What is happening? This moon is revolving around the earth. Okay, and what this earth does? Earth revolves round the sun. Isn't it? Earth revolves around the sun in a particular orbit. Isn't it? So what is happening? That means there is some attraction, force of attraction between the moon and the earth, and between the earth and the sun. Isn't it? That means there is some force of attraction which is attracting the moon towards itself and attracting the earth towards sun. Isn't it? So that means there is some force. And what is that force? That force is nothing but gravitation. It is called as gravitation, a phenomena under which Earth tends to attract towards things itself. Things towards itself is nothing but the gravitational force. So how does this come into existence? We will think about one story which was described by the Isaac Newton. Okay, Isaac Newton was the founder of this gravitational force. He brought this force into existence. Okay, then how he has brought this into existence, we will learn this. So here comes the story of apple. Story of apple. It's nothing but what happened one day. One day Isaac Newton, he was sitting under a tree. What happened? Isaac Newton, he was just sitting under an apple tree. Okay, he was sitting here. He was just resting. He was resting here and he was just sitting. And he was seeing that. What is he was seeing? He was seeing that apples were falling from the tree towards the ground. Okay, what was happening? Apple was falling towards the ground. He was sitting here under the apple tree and he observed that apples were falling towards the ground here. Okay, then he got a doubt. Why the apples are falling towards the earth only? Why they are not going up? What is happening? Why the apples are coming down onto the earth? Then what happened? He got so many doubts. So many doubts arised from there. What he thought again? Then if the apple is falling down onto the earth, that means the earth must be having some force of attraction. Okay, if the earth can attract the objects towards itself, that means it has some, then why cannot it attract moon towards itself? What he thought was, when the earth can attract the objects towards itself, then why can't it attract the moon also towards itself? Okay, this led to the research of the moon gets attracted towards the earth. Okay, then again one more doubt he got. Why the moon is not falling towards the earth? See, like how apple is falling towards onto the ground, isn't it? Apple is falling here. Then why not when the moon is getting attracted towards the earth? When moon is attracted towards the earth, then why it is not falling onto the ground of the earth? When the moon is attracted towards the earth, why it is not falling onto the ground? Why it is not falling? This also led him to the, research of one more discovery. Okay, why the earth is not falling, why the moon is not falling onto the earth. Okay, then what actually governs the motion of moon around the earth? He again discovered what actually governs the motion of moon around the earth. As I already gave you an example, that moon is revolving around the earth, isn't it? Moon is revolving around the earth. then what is the force here which is, which is allowing the moon to move around the earth, revolve around the earth? So what is that force? He also discovered that, isn't it? Then for example, if I give you for this rotation of moon around the earth, we can go with an example that we have learned in the motion lesson about a stone tied to a thread and we are just rotating. Okay, we are just rotating. So what have we done here? We have just taken a stone and to this stone we have tied a thread. Okay. Now what we are doing? We are just taking this thread and simply rotating it. Okay, in a circular motion. Simply we are rotating it in a circular motion. So what you can notice? You can notice that you are holding the thread in your hand and you are rotating the stone. That means the stone is moving into a circular motion, isn't it? And once you stop this rotation and you just while rotating you just simply leave it, the stone will go and fall somewhere on the ground, isn't it? So that means there is some force in the center where you are holding the thread. There is some force and that force is called as centripetal force. What is that called as? It is called as centripetal force. Because the force is in the center where you are holding the thread, it is in the center. So this force is nothing but centripetal force. Okay. Now if you see, the motion is in circular, isn't it? It is moving at a constant speed. So it is that motion is nothing but uniform circular motion, isn't it? So that means it is vector. Because it is having a constant direction, isn't it, children? Now if I say example, if we go with, you can see the sun. Okay, this is your sun. Now around sun you can see there are different planets, isn't it? Different planets are rotating around the sun. Now these planets are revolving around the sun in a circular motion, isn't it? In a circular motion. They have their own orbit, isn't it? They have their own orbit. They have their own circular path. So this is nothing but we can take the example of uniform circular motion, and this sun, you can say that here it is a center, and this central force is keeping all the orbits in one orbital motion. It is having some force of attraction which is taking all the planets into one direction, and this here you can say that sun acts as a centripetal force. Okay, sun acts as a centripetal force. So here what we are doing, we are just using the tails of this figure, okay, vector velocity. We are taking this as a center point, and all these things we are taking just in the directions we are taking, okay. This will be the direction, this will be the direction, this will be the direction, like this, all only the directions we are taking. So this we will get a small triangles, isn't it? Only we are going to take the directions. Equal triangle shapes we are going to get when we are taking in a circular motion. Now what we are doing, we are considering the change in velocity during the course of a complete revolution of a body. The sum of the magnitudes of the changes in the velocity during this complete revolution will be equal to the sum of the sides depicted by the polygons. But the direction of velocity is changing continuously. As you know, magnitude will be in this one direction only, but the direction will be changing continuously, isn't it? So it's perfectly clear that the smaller we take angles of the small triangle, the less will be our error. The smaller the sides of a polygon, the closer they cling to the circle of radius as shown in the figure. The smaller the triangle, the smaller the angles we get. And it's easy to just calculate the center of the radius. Okay, so what we are doing, the sum of the magnitude of the change in the velocity of the body during the course revolving will be equal to, that is the sum of the magnitude will be equal to 2 pi v. Okay, 2 pi v of the whole circle. Fine. Then we know that magnitude of the acceleration is equal to the ratio of the change in velocity for one revolution in a given period time. So let AC is equal to, that is change in acceleration is equal to 2 pi v by t. Okay, capital T. Then this is the time required and this is the magnitude, isn't it? Magnitude of acceleration of this given uniform circular motion body. Okay, then we know that T is equal to 2 pi r by v, isn't it? So now we can substitute this and we get AC is equal to 2 pi v. This v also again goes up, okay, into v by this 2 pi r. So what do we get here? We get 2 pi get cancels, v into v square by r. So now AC is equal to v square by r. Okay, so change in acceleration is v square by r. As the vertex angle of isosceles triangles decreases, the angle between the change in velocity and the velocity vector approaches to 90 degrees. As the isosceles triangle decreases, you can see that the change in the velocity also will be reaching the 90 degrees. Okay. Therefore, the acceleration of a body in a uniform circular motion is directed perpendicular to its velocity. You can say that change in acceleration is perpendicular to the velocity, whereas inversely proportional to the radius, isn't it? So with this we can say this acceleration that change only the direction of velocity of a body is called as centripetal acceleration. So here we can say that this is nothing but centripetal acceleration, because you can see only change in the direction of velocity. Only the velocity changes, but it does not changes the path. Okay, only the velocity changes, but it does not changes the path. So according to the second law, that net force of a moving body produces an acceleration in it which is directed along the net force. So in this uniform circular motion, a net force acts towards the center. This force is nothing but a centripetal force. The net force which change only the direction of velocity of a body is called as centripetal force. So according to Newton's second law, if we go according to the Newton's second law, then force net is equal to mass into acceleration. So force net is equal to mass into acceleration, that is centripetal force is equal to mass acceleration, that is changing the acceleration. So what did we get from the formula? Fc is equal to AC is equal to v square by r, isn't it? So we are just substituting it, v square by r, that is nothing but mv square by r. Okay, so this is your centripetal force equation, where r is the radius of circle. In the uniform circular motion, Fc always directs towards the center, because Fc is nothing but whatever force is acting on the center, so that will always direct to the center. Okay, centripetal force is a net force directed towards the center of the circle. This is a very important point you have to remember. I hope it is clear to you, children. We have learned about the uniform circular motion, gravitation. Okay, in next class we will meet up with the next topic. Until then, please wait for the next video. Thanks for watching. If you did not understand, please go twice and try to understand the topic, as it is very interesting. Until then, take care. Thank you.